Hello. So I'm going to attempt to make a tutorial on how I made the curved staircases, or staircase, there's only one. Try and make this a little bit more easier to understand. So I'm going to start, well, depending on where your staircase is and what you want to do with it. It all depends on how high you want your roof or your ceiling, but I'm going to go with 7 cubes along and 14 high. Then I'm going to build another wall just there. Next, you're going to want to pick what stairs you want. I'm going to go with the Cornish because it's personally easier to blend the steps together. So start in the top corner and go all the way along, however long you want the stairs. I'm going to go with 6. It tends to be the best sort of width to me. Go all the way down so you've made one long step and do that all the way to the bottom step. Don't worry about the wall or the fact the stairs are flipped. We can flip them back. So just keep going until you reach the bottom. Okay, so this all depends on your own personal preference. It's flat this side, curved the other. I tried to flip it. Try and put the grid on. I like to flip it because I think it just looks better. But again, that's entirely up to you. Next, I'm going to colour the bricks just to make it easier, just to see. Because if you look, there's a bunch of gaps. Well, they're not really gaps, it's more the wall on the back of the brick. So if I did that, it's gone. So I'm going to start with this one here. And you're going to want the grid off. I'm just going to curve it to where I want the curve, to be honest. Just blend it all together. Try and make it as seamless as you can. And then with the next one, I tend to put it at an angle that's the same as the last one, and then curve it to where you want. So basically just keep doing this right up until the bottom step. And what you're going to want to do is, again, this all depends on how much of a curve you want, on how you move the step. So you can have it, completely turn around if you like. That's completely up to you how you want your staircase. I'm going to try and do it as even as I can. Okay, so essentially you have your curve, but you have a bunch of gaps in your steps. You don't want that. So the next thing to do is delete this wall, and you're going to basically need to put a step in each of these gaps again. So it's pretty much rinse and repeat. So I'm going to just copy these steps just to make it a bit easier. And what I tend to do is, again, flip the stairs so the flat sides are together. It just looks better in my opinion. You're just going to want to curve it so that it joins to the bricks the best that you can. It's not easy, very tedious. Just going to colour these bricks just so that we can see a little better. Okay. Okay. It's funny, I sigh, but I actually really enjoy doing tedious things like this. Let's just try and do it the best that you can. And again, it's entirely up to you whether you want to. I tend to make these smaller so that it's not poking out the end. Try that one again. Okay, I'm just going to tuck these in. Okay, so that essentially is your staircase. I've noticed this one's a little bit wider than the others, but that's okay. Next I'm going to build a wall. Again, this is optional, but I like the look, so I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to go there, and then the rest I'm going to curve. So I'm going to get you a little brick, this one here. Do some more. I'm just going to attempt to curve it. Actually, I'm going to delete this just for a minute. Try not to delete the steps you just worked really hard on. See if this lines up. Not quite. So again, that's completely up to you whether you do this or not, and you can make it go all the way around, or you can just do it like I've done it, or no, just leave it. So everything after this is optional, really. You can have a railing, you might not want a railing, it's completely up to you. But the best way that I've found is if you use the railings that they have, if it clicks on it, there you go. Let's say I was to pick this railing, which tends to be my go-to, but let's go with this one because it has a top bit there. And I was to copy it through each step. You think, oh yeah, that seems like it's going up there pretty well. But then if you have a look, That's certainly not a railing I would particularly want, especially if you have kids. So I'm going to take that away, and you could lift up each step and then build a wall underneath, but that's just more work in my opinion. So what I'm going to do, I tend to do a little bit of detail at the bottom, but again, that's completely up to you. So what I get a railing that you like, so I'm going to pick this one, and just have one. And again, it's optional what colour you have it. I'm going to go with the wood that I had before. And just copy it, if you can. Copy it to each step. Like that. So then obviously that's a better railing, sure, but you know, you want it to all line up. So I'm going to move them to around the corner of the actual step. Again, if you want to do this, it's completely up to you, you don't have to. Okay, so that's your basic sort of, you know, railing. I'm just going to put something in between just to make it look just a little better. And that's going to be I think I'm going to try this one. Maybe not. Let's go with the wood. Okay, so once again, it's pretty tedious, but the end result's pretty good. Okay, so that's one side. Just do the same on the other. So I'm just going to delete whatever's left over. So that essentially is your staircase. Just going to put a little railing and all. So that you're essentially done. If you like, you can put some detail at the bottom, which I have done before. So I'm going to pick 4 of these. I'm going to go with 2 of these. And just a block here. I'm just going to paint all of these to the colour of the stairs. I'm going to move this so that's a little bit in, more in the stairs. Flip these. I'm going to want the grid off. Okay, so I'm just going to move these so they look a little better. Same the other side. I'm going to put these onto here. Again, this is all completely optional. Doesn't affect the stairs whatsoever. I think I might put one of these. The wall height a little bit higher. Imagine it's a double height ceiling, maybe. there you are. That is your curved staircase. You can add whatever details you like. And that's it, we're done. I hope this helped, a little at least. And